and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and welcome to another Millimas video, which means I'm posting almost every day in December. Today is also part of a series on my channel called Multichrome Monday, where I talk about multichromes from different brands. I do eye swatches, I do reviews, wear tests, you name it. And today I'm going to be talking about Karla Cosmetics. I have these two gel multichromes from them. This one is in shade Snooze and Lullaby. As of right now, these are the only two shades they have in gel form, but they also have them in pressed and loose form as well. And then I also got this pressed multichrome in the shade Neverland, and so this is what that looks like in here. And I bumped into this brand on Instagram at least a few months ago, and right around the time that I followed them and was looking at their multichromes to purchase, I did purchase from a different brand called Notice Beauty, Notyce. So I purchased a bundle of multichromes from that brand, and they came in these pink little compacts. I'll throw up a picture up here. And then I noticed that Karla Cosmetics was selling the same thing, and when I did get my order from the other brand in, I noticed that there was literally only about like 1 millimeter of product. Also, we'll insert pictures in here. And once I got my order from Notice Beauty, I realized that these were most likely private labeled eyeshadows from Alibaba. I will throw up a picture up here. I found a listing of the same exact looking compacts and just the way it looked inside. And so I was very, very disappointed. I did get a refund. Thankfully, I ordered through Etsy, so it was a really weird situation, but I'm not going to get too much into it, but it is relevant because the same compacts are the ones that Karla Cosmetics used to sell around the same time. They were also selling them for a very high price of, I think it was around $20-$25 USD. And so that made me very skeptical to buy from Karla Cosmetics again because of that bad experience with the same exact looking eyeshadows that were very, very expensive, but there was almost no product in them. So I kind of held off. I was keeping an eye on them, and then they released their multichrome gels, which they showed themselves filling, and they said that these were handmade, and that there was I saw a comment response to someone that these were made somewhere in London in a lab. So I was like, okay, so they're heading in the right direction. And I also noticed around the same time they stopped selling the ones in those compacts and they started selling the ones in these compacts. So I thought I would give them a go because they're changing, they're evolving, they're still an independently owned brand that is trying to do better. I'm still a little on the fence on how handmade these are. There's another UK brand that was selling multichromes that were just in the same compact, except this was white and there was a little hole on the side so you could take the pan out. But once I got this, I saw that there's a good amount of product in here, and it's very, very beautiful, very, very silky. So the formula seemed very nice. So that was like the longest intro ever. But basically, even after everything that transpired a few months ago, I decided to give them a chance. I just really wanted to try the gel formula. And so let's get into some pricing and some details. So there's 1 gram of product claimed in this compact, and this retails for 19 pounds, which at the time I'm filming this is about $26. And then the gels have 6 grams each in them, and they retail for 20 pounds each, which right now is about $27. So these are very pricey, for sure, especially the amount you get in here. I think it's a lot of money. I do know that it is much harder to find multichromes in the UK. You would have to order from a USA or Canadian brand, which offer a lot of multichromes. So with shipping and everything, it might end up actually being pretty expensive to get multichromes from the US or Canada to the UK or in Europe if you live in Europe, which in comparison you have the Natasha Denona Chromium eyeshadows, which have 2.5 milliliters and they're $28. And then for example also the Ciate London Shadow Flips, which have 1.2 milliliters, and these are $20, but they're always on sale. So I do think that the gels are good value. However, the eyeshadow, I would say not so much, definitely a little bit on the pricey side. I know that they don't have all the shades of these. So now let's talk about my thoughts on these, and then at the end of the video I'll insert some eye swatches and also like a comparison between a pressed eyeshadow versus one of these eyeshadows, so you see how they look on the lid in comparison to each other. I have done wear tests. I've used all of these on my lids on multiple different eyeshadow bases. So let's get right into that. I do want to mention that I have hooded oily lids, so usually I have a lot of creasing issues, especially on primers like the P. Louise base, the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas, and anything else that's kind of creamy and doesn't set. And the one eye primer that never creases on me is the Smashbox 24-hour eye primer. So these wore really well on top of the 24-hour Smashbox eye primer, and also the Be Perfect primer, but not so much on the Natasha Denona eye primer. but all in all, these are really great quality. I would say this is a really awesome formula. Out of all the Multichrome liquid gel types of eyeshadows that I've used, which has been at least like 4 or 5 now, I would say these are like top, maybe even better than the Natasha Denona Chromiums. I really enjoy these. I think these are so easy to use. There's no streakiness. You can apply them easily with a finger, with a silicone applicator or a brush, really doesn't matter. I think these apply great with any of those, and overall they gave me really great wear time, unless they were of course on the problematic eyeshadow primers, which is just super common for me, so it doesn't really lose any points for me. And then for the eyeshadow, I think this one, it swatches super silky and very beautiful and reflective. However, once I go on the lid, especially with my finger, I feel like it thins out a little bit. It needs some sort of a tacky primer that sets down. And when I did use my Fernet Pixie Epoxy with this, like I used with all my pressed multichrome shadows, it wore really well. And also they do sell an eyeshadow priming potion or something like that. It's basically like a clear gel that you use to apply these on top of for really long wear time. They also sell loose versions of all their shades, so they have the pressed versions and then they have the loose. I didn't want to buy the loose because one, I really don't like loose eyeshadows. I think they're super messy. They're much harder to work with. Even if you were to mix them with something, it's just, I think, much easier to use a gel or an eyeshadow than something that's loose. But I also feel like it's just much more worth to pay the price to buy the pressed version versus the loose version, at least for me personally. So let's talk about if I would recommend purchasing from Karla Cosmetics. I really like the gels. However, there is so much product, and yes, it's a great value and you can look at it that way. However, for the average consumer, do you need this much of a gel eyeshadow multichrome? Are you going to use it that much for it to be actually worth it? Just because it's a good value doesn't mean it's a good value for you if you're not using it to its full potential. So I think if you're a makeup artist, it's a really great value because you're going to be using it a lot on clients. You're going to get some really great use out of it, which means you'll get your value out of it. However, if you're an average consumer and you just want to dip your toes in multichromes, or you just like to use them here and there, maybe for like a nighttime look, then I don't think it would be worth it for you. I really wish they would sell smaller versions of the gel so people would kind of get to try them out before committing to 6 grams of gel multichromes. I just think this is a lot. For example, Chaos Cosmetics has little clam shells that are filled with their gel multichromes, so you don't have to commit to a large full size if you don't know if you'll like the shade, if you know you'll like the formula. And I did exchange a couple of DMs on Instagram with Karla Cosmetics, and I told them that it would be really nice if they sold sample sizes or just smaller versions of the gels, because I think that they could reach a lot more consumers, because $27 is a lot to just try something for the first time. And so these came in these plastic baggies with the ingredients and other information, as well as the shelf life information. So for the gel multichromes, it is 12 months, and then for the pressed eyeshadow, it is 24 months. I'm looking out for what they're going to be doing in the future. I'm very curious. I do want to try their mixing potion. Knowing how well these gel multichromes wear, I have high hopes for that as well. So I am on the lookout. So now let's get into the eye swatches. And so that's everything for this video. I hope it was informative and it was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried any products from Karla Cosmetics. And if you're interested in more Multichrome content, I will leave up my Multichrome Monday playlist for you to keep watching if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.